Oh, yes, it's that time of year again. The playoffs for the NFL have arrived. And today we are going to predict every single round in the playoffs. And so let's see if we get them correct. What is up, everybody? It is Mars Sports. It is your boy Marshall. And today we get NFL playoff predictions for 2023-2024 season. Oh boy, this ought to be interesting because there are some good matchups. We got a wild card and a divisional, then a conference, and a Super Bowl, and a Super Bowl champion. So basically, I divided this all into a tier list. So I will show y'all that. Ladies and gentlemen, the tier list. Oh, man, I really want to put them here, but no, they're not in the playoffs. So here we go. We got every matchup lined up. For wild card, I got them in the order of matchups that are happening in real life. So we get the Browns, Texans first, and I will have Yahoo Sports pulled up because normally I do my picks in Yahoo Sports, but it's kind of pointless if I'm doing this and then I make a whole nother video on Yahoo Sports. It's kind of pointless at that point. But we will still do Yahoo Sports picks while we're doing this, just for a wild card, for now at least. I'll do divisional and all that eventually as well. So, anyways, let's get started. The Browns versus the Texans. Whoever thought we would see this matchup? You got Joe Flacco, who is like 55 years old right now, versus CJ Stroud, who's like 12 years old. This is an interesting matchup. Browns came from a season last season when they went like 6-11 or something like that. I don't know, or 7-10, something like that. And the Texans were dog crap. And over the last offseason, they hired DeMeco Ryans, former player of the Texans, and man, he has saved that franchise. They are 10-7. That is a good record. This one's a hard game to call because both these teams I feel like are decently evenly matched. But I feel like, well, I don't know about evenly matched, but I feel like the Browns have a better team, even with like Joe Flacco. So I'm going to go with the Browns to win this one. And according to Yahoo Sports, 56% go with the Browns. Sorry, I'd stop focusing, but I will go with the Browns to win. And I'll put them in all the matchups in a bit. So I think the Texans wrote instead. But hey, you made the playoffs. Good job. Considering where they were the year before that. It's crazy how years change. Yeah, that game will be on NBC, but now on Peacock. Peacock? Are you serious, bro? Dolphins versus the Chiefs. Tyreek going to the Chiefs. And this one's tough to call, to be honest with you, because I feel like both these teams have their flaws. Kansas City has no wide receivers, while the Dolphins, yes, they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but they can't really beat a winning opponent unless it's the Cowboys, which was a home game. They're a lot like the Cowboys. I say this a lot because I'm being honest. But honestly, this is a tough one to call. I'm gonna go with Kansas City on this one, just because Arrowhead, and it's huge advantage for them. And only 54% go with Kansas City. But I love Hard Knocks, and I hope the Dolphins get through. So yeah, plus it's Jack's team. Of course, I'm pulling for them. If it's Wafik's team, then that's where a different conversation, because he's a Falcons fan. They really should have kept Arthur Smith, bro. That would have been great for the Saints. Anyways, moving on. Steelers versus the Bills. Steelers made the playoffs. They always getting winning record, bro. Mike Tomlin just knows how to get a winning record every year. He's not the longest tenured coach in the NFL at the moment because Belichick's now gone. I'll make a whole video on all the coaches because a quarter of the league head coaching jobs are open now. And they're playing the Bills. Bills have had a weird season, but they've been getting a lot better lately. And they got the number 2 seed after all that. They literally went from, in less than 24 hours, might be missing the playoffs to the number 2 seed. That's how crazy the NFL is. I feel like the Bills are just a better team, in my opinion. Because, yes, Steelers are good, but Mason Rudolph, I don't know if I see him going very far with the Steelers. No offense, but Steelers, I love Yo Boy Pizza and Unemployed and all that. But I just feel like the Bills are going to win it. And they're going to break some tables there. I'm going to go with the Bills, and 71% go with the Bills. Oof, break that. Sorry, it's not focusing. I'll go with the Bills. Ah, excuse me. I'll reorganize everything, by the way, once we get there. So that is the AFC right there. And now we got Green Bay versus the Cowboys. Green Bay, how the frick did they make the playoffs after all that? They had so many problems. First of all, they were destined to be bad in the first place because they're in a rebuild year because Aaron Rodgers left and all their wide receivers left. Jordan Love is their starting QB. No one knew about him. And they managed a respectable 9-8 record. Even though they really should have been 8-9 because the Saints blew that game. But we don't talk about that game. If Saints would not won that game, they would win the playoffs. But they are playing the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium, and Cowboys have been unbeatable at AT&T Stadium this year so far. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I try to look at tickets to this game because it's near me, but 66% growth. I'm a little surprised it's that low considering it's the Steelers Bills game, but whatever. No. Next up, we got the Rams versus the Lions, Stafford versus Goff. It used to be vice versa, but now it's how it is now. Goff on the Lions, it's Stafford on the Rams. Rams are getting a lot better lately. They were supposed to be in a rebuild. They're similar to the Packers, supposed to be in a rebuild. Matthew Stafford got injured last season. They were garbage last season. Then they came back in 10-7. That's a good record. They played good this year, well, at least for the most part. They had that one point where they were off, but yeah, they almost beat the Ravens. What do I know? And the Lions, man, Lions, what a resurgence that team has had. They went from being not getting a win to like week 13 a couple years ago when they were over the moon for a tie to winning the division for the first time in God knows how long. Rams, yes, they have been a lot better lately this year. Detroit, though, they're just destined, man. I believe in that team. They're my Super Bowl pick earlier in the year. We'll see if they are now. I'm gonna go with Detroit. I'm a little surprised it's lopsided. I thought it'd be like 62%, but I'll go with the Lions. Lions are just way better than they used to be. So yeah, there's that. Also, shout out to the NFL. I like how they organize the matchups to where all the AFC teams play first and all the NFC teams. Kind of gives you like a transition there. You don't have to keep up with everything. Yeah. And then the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. This one's a tough one to call because both these teams kind of struggling lately. Eagles, they have been really off lately. They had a great start to their season, and then they lost to the Jets. Then they got killed by San Francisco, killed by the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. Barely lost to the Seahawks. Barely beat the Giants. Lost to the Cardinals, and pretty much got killed for their standards against the Giants. Yes, I know Mariota started, but I'm so concerned about the Eagles, man. It's just I'm sorry, Ethan, if you're watching this. I don't know if y'all's team stable enough. And the Bucks had a good start. They've had their highs and their lows. They had a great start to their season. Then they had that 4-game losing streak. Then they won against the Titans and they lost against 49ers in Indianapolis. But then they won 5 of the last 6 games. And their one game they lost was against the Saints. This one's a tough one to call. Bucks are better than they were last year. I mean, I know Tom Brady was there last year, but still, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. This is the bold one, but I feel like Eagles are just so off lately. I can't really give them any grief. By the way, last year, if y'all were watching, I got every single wild card game predicted correctly. I predicted 6 for 6 on the winners. So, will this happen again this year? We'll see. Because if that happens again, then I need to go bet all my money, which is not that much money that I have in my personal account, and just use it on the wildcard games. All these matchups are officially shuffled and we ready. Let's do this. So we're going to start with the NFC side of the bracket. We got the Buccaneers going into San Francisco. Buccaneers, they won against the Eagles in this predictions. And 49ers, they had an off week, so they're all rested. And by the way, I can't do Yahoo Sports for this because these games haven't been decided yet or on who's playing. Buccaneers, yeah, they've been better this year, but the 49ers, they're just good, bro. Unless they do what they did against the Ravens, but what do I know? So yeah. The Lions versus the Cowboys. I'm sure the Lions will kind of dread, but at the same time want to get their revenge. Going back to AT&T Stadium, because the only reason they lost that game is because of that call. And the Cowboys, yes, they've had a great streak at home this year. I just don't see the Cowboys beating the Lions again. Yes, they beat them, but that was off a very fluky call. I'm sorry, Ayush, if you're watching this, but I don't know if them boys can get through. I'm gonna go with the Lions to win this one. Because, man, the Lions, they're good this year. Moving on to the AFC. The Browns versus the Ravens. A typical divisional matchup in a divisional playoff round. This is the third time these teams are playing each other in the season. Let's see their history. against each other. By the way, if y'all are wondering, for the playoff matchups, the Browns beat the Texans already this year. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Dolphins, and the Eagles beat the Buccaneers. The 49ers have already beaten the Buccaneers. I just figured I'd give y'all an update on that. Browns versus Ravens. This has obviously been played twice this year already. So we already have an idea of what these teams are. So, how you may be like, how are these teams against each other? Well, the Browns lost to the Ravens 28-3. Wafik, if you're watching this right now, hi.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
You got a young guy? Maybe put weapons.
And then the Ravens barely lost to the Browns in Baltimore. By the way, the Browns lost to the Ravens in Cleveland. So this one's a tough one to call. Now, if it was the Ravens against some other team, maybe I'd go different. But like, it's a divisional matchup. You never know. Like, divisional is in playoff run, and they're in the same division. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens because they barely lost that game anyway. So yeah, I'll go with the Ravens. And the Chiefs and the Bills. The Bills beat the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. But I got to double check. But the Chiefs, man, they've been off this year. But they played the Dolphins, and the Dolphins, they're good. But like, I don't see them getting through if they're playing like a matchup in Arrowhead. That's just the only thing that concerns me. Whenever they're at their height, the Dolphins are the better team. But they have not been great on the road. I mean, come on, the Dolphins literally scored 70 on an NFL team. What do you expect? It's crazy, man. It's crazy how these things go. By the way, the Chiefs lost to the Bills by 3 points in Arrowhead. This time it's being played in Buffalo. That's so weird because usually it's played in Arrowhead in the playoffs. What do I know? But Buffalo, I'm going to go with Buffalo to win that one. And man, Buffalo, after all that, make the conference championship. That's crazy. So yeah, I have all these matchups sorted out. So the Lions will be facing off against the 49ers. The way I said that, like I enunciated 49ers. Anyways, have these teams played each other? The answer is no. They have not played each other this season. So this will be the first time they're playing each other. And you know what? This one's tough to call. Because the Lions, they're very good, but they've lost to some weird teams this year. The 49ers, they tanked against the Ravens. But you know what? I have a weird feeling. I think the Lions are going to win. Who knows, though? And Buffalo versus the Ravens. This ought to be interesting, this matchup. Because it's a peak Ravens team versus a Buffalo team that was weird, but still there, that almost missed the playoffs. Almost might be an overstatement, but still, that one game could have determined it all. You never know. This matchup has not been played yet this year. But you know what? Ravens have been so good this year. I'm going with the Ravens, which means the Lions and the Ravens are going to play each other in the Super Bowl. Oh, good Lord. I just realized these two teams already played each other, and Ravens killed the Lions. But it's a new matchup. I think the Lions will come back stronger. When they played each other for the rematch, 38-6, and the Ravens won. Lions were just off that day, let's be honest. But the Ravens, man, they have been epic this year. John Harbaugh might win a Super Bowl the same year Jim Harbaugh wins a national championship. The Lions, though, Dan Campbell, man, my man, he has literally taken an organization and made them so good. He fixed that franchise. But at the end of the day, I think in Las Vegas, the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think it'll be 38-6. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think the Ravens are still going to win it. I think Lions will come back stronger. But Ravens, I have them to win. So yeah, but there is your playoffs for the year. Well, am I correct? Maybe we'll see the wild card if I'm correct again. But who knows? Anyways, y'all, that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all guys so much for watching. That is going to do it for another video. What are y'all's predictions? Who do y'all think's going to win the Super Bowl? Anyways, y'all, that is going to do it for this video. Thank y'all guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Have a nice day and goodbye. See y'all in the next one. Peace.